the arts are something that are a passion of mine, which is why I belong to a couple of the theater companies, and I'm a big supporter of banners, because I guess it has something to do with my youth. I grew up in a community where, as school children, we were taken to the art museum and we were taken to symphony, and so I kind of grew up with an appreciation of those kind of things. And people don't appreciate Lake Charles enough, because for a small town, we've got the Children's Museum and the Imperial Calcasieu Museum and West Cal Museum, yes, and the stuff they do at McNeese and a couple of theater companies and a symphony. Yes. We're really pretty lucky for the arts we have. And young people say to me all the time, "Well, there's nothing to do in Lake Charles. I ought to live somewhere else." And I'd say, if you could do anything you want to, what would you do? Yes. And they go, "Well, I like to go to movies." Well, we got movies. Okay. "I like to go to museums." Well, we got a couple of museums, yes, and the best museum in the world is to walk the Creel Nature Trail. Yes. Okay. Yes. So we've got things to do. It's all in our heads if you want to go out. I mean, they perpetually have concerts at the casinos. Yes. Yes. They're not cheap. What kind of music do you like? Yes. I'm not as big a symphony fan as I was in my younger days, but I joke with people about music and sitcoms, because I tell everybody I really stopped listening to music when the Beatles broke up, and I stopped listening to sitcoms when All in the Family went off the air. So people ask me about modern day sitcoms. I stopped watching The Tonight Show when Johnny Carson retired.
Yes.
So things that are old. And I'm a Neil Diamond and all those old performer kind of fans.
Yes.
I'm not very modern, but then I'm not very young. Okay. Well, but the arts are important.
Very.
You asked me about food, and the first thing that popped into my head was, I really like to eat almost everything except liver and beets. No liver and no beets.
That's quite a combination. That's excellent.
Other than that, there aren't really too many things I don't like.
That is so good. What about a favorite place to visit besides Lake Charles? Is there, when you go somewhere, where would you want to go?
Well, it really, first of all, I love to travel. And so when I'm traveling for the sake of traveling, I really like to go to different places. Nice. But if I'm looking for a place to just go and hang out and relax and do nothing, I'm a big fan of Costa Rica.
Really?
Oh yeah. I've been to bunches and bunches of places in the Caribbean, and when I want to do nothing, yes, I don't mind sitting on the beach and watching the sunset and that kind of thing. Yes. And Costa Rica is friendly and not terribly expensive, and absolutely, I've been all over Costa Rica because I've been many times. Okay. So that's kind of my go-to place.
Relaxing place.
Just to go and relax. But I've been fortunate enough to be over a lot of this country, and there's a lot of it more I want to see. Yes. And I've been to Europe a couple of times. Nice. And generally speaking, I try not to go back.
Just once, get it done?
There are a couple of places that at my age, if I've got enough room on my bucket list, yes, I wouldn't mind going back to Austria, and I wouldn't mind going back to Hungary. Those are kind of my two favorite places.
Nice.
England and the British Isles are fascinating, and I'm quasi a student of history. People need to learn more history to begin with.
Yes.
But, you know, I think I told you when we talked before, I just came back from Germany.
Yes, yes.
And I was in 5 different countries, and the American people have so little concept of history, you know, and you visit an old Roman fort.
Oh my gosh.
And you're walking with a crowd of people, and you say, you know, they built this thing 1,000 years before there was a white man on the North American continent.
That's right.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And so I like the historical aspects of it and putting it all in context, because unfortunately we teach history from event to event.
Yes.
And nothing ever happens in a vacuum. I could tell hundreds of stories about, but the simplest one is, it's a general concept, and this isn't taking anything away from Martin Luther,
Right.
because he's a significant turning point in history.
Very much.
But the Reformation had been going on for 100 years before he nailed his whatever number of whatever it was to the church door.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It wasn't like it just popped into his head.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You know, Einstein's theory of relativity is the byproduct of work of other physicists before him.
Right. Yes.
Okay? So nothing ever happens in a vacuum.
Yes.
And so we talk about what's going on in the world today in this country.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And just without making a political statement, they talk about the division, and they talk about the slanted media. And we have always seen, I mean, our founding was a division with another.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
It was a revolution and the Civil War.
Yes.
Okay? But, you know, people talk about, depending on your side of the aisle,
Yes.
okay, the slanted journalism.
Yeah.
They should read the stuff that the New York newspapers wrote about Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War.
Yes.
Okay. The media hasn't changed. Our being deluged with the media is more.
Yes.
But it's no different.
Yes. That's great points.
I'm kind of rambling, but
No, you're giving us a sense of who, you know, your beliefs and who you are, and so that's.
But I really do, when something happens or I have an experience. Okay, I really do, just because of my way my brain is wired, put things in the context that they're happening, whether it's historical or cultural or art, because it just makes it more whole for me.
Yes. Now you mentioned, you know, your childhood and the arts and museums that you were experienced then. Where did you grow up?
Okay, I grew up in the greater Cleveland area.
Nice.
Which is why I'm a Cleveland.
There we go.
Why I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. It's a bad habit I can't get rid of.
I understand.
I'm a devout Cleveland Browns fan.
Nice.
There's my passion. You want to know? You want to know a passion?
Yes.
Actually, and my work.
Yes. Yeah.
But I grew up in the greater Cleveland area. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a reasonably well-to-do family that gave me the opportunity to expose me to lots and lots of different things.
Nice.
My father died when I was 17.
Wow.
Or 16.
Okay.
And my stepfather, who really was the driving male in my family,
Wow.
because my parents were divorced when I was 5.
Okay.
And I had a relationship with my father, but he was not the guy that said,
Right.
you got to be home at 11 o'clock.
Yes. Yes.
And my stepfather died in 77, which was part of the proximate cause that brought me down
Right
here.
Okay.
Brought me down here.
Got you.
And my mother died 15 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm one of 6.
Wow.
I'm a yours, mine, and ours family.
Yes, I remember the movie. Yes, okay. Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball, right? Yes.
Yeah. But we never really, because we all grew up together, distinguished between you're my real brother and you're my stepbrother.
Yes.
And actually, because my real brother went off to private school, I actually have had a closer relationship, if you can, with my stepbrother, because we grew up together.
Nice.
Okay, we're 18 months apart and went to high school
that
together.
Helps. Yes,
and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So I'm a yours, mine, and ours. And then my daughter was born when I was still in Cleveland.
Wow.
And my son was born not too terribly long after we moved down here.
Wow.
And then 10 years later, we had another daughter. And I've got 3 kids, and I got 6 grandchildren, ranging in age from 24 to almost a year in December. It'll be a year old in December.
That's a range. Okay.
Family is important.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
And I really do try and. It's difficult because we're spread all over the place.
Yeah.
Stay in touch with my siblings, and
nice.
And I encourage my children with their hectic lives and their children and all the things that's involved in raising their kids to stay connected.
Yes.
So getting my grandchildren together is a rarity because, when you're a 24-year-old in the Army and your brother is a chef in New Orleans, the getting together is not too easy. But I'm taking my children and their significant others, and I've done this once before, to Costa Rica.
Okay.
In January.
Oh my gosh.
Tammy and I and the 6 of them and no kids.
Okay. Who's Tammy?
Actually, the baby's coming.
Who's Tammy?
Tammy is my significant other.
Got you. Okay. All right.
Tammy and I have been together for 10 years.
Okay.
And she treats me better than I deserve. And she puts up with me, and those that know me, that anybody that ever watches this will go, yeah, if she puts up with you, she... excuse me.
Okay.
But I took the 6 of them down there before,
nice.
And it was one of the great vacations of my life.
Oh, my
listening to my 3 children share with each other their remembrances and sharing with their spouses and everybody. And once in a while, I had to jump in and say, well, your recollection of history may not be the same as my recollection of history. But other than that, it was such a great vacation. I'm taking them back. The 5 of my 6 grandchildren are complaining about it because we're actually bringing the baby.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Almost a year old. It'll be just a year old.
It'll be just a year
and
old.
a month. Okay.
But other than that, the other 5 girls, when do I get to go to Costa Rica? and I tell them, talk to your parents.
That's it, yes.
But it's about sharing the blessings.
Where did you go to college?
I went to George Washington University in Washington, D.C. It was a fascinating time to be there. Wow. I started college in January of 1970.
Wow.
the civil rights movement was in full blown.
Very much.
The anti-war
Huge.
was really big, and you got all of the escapades going on with the. I could tell stories about the anti-war demonstrations in Washington. I was pretty active. I was actually a political science major with a minor in communication.
Oh my gosh.
And I was the news director for this college newspaper, and I started volunteering on the Hill.
Oh my goodness.
And I was working for Edmund Muskie when he was running for president, and when he backed out, I went to work for the Democratic National Committee in the Watergate. And as a 22-year-old working in the Watergate, I was there through all the break-in stuff.
I mean, what?
It was the Republicans' first response, the Nixon administration's first response, was to try and blame it back on the Democrats that they did it to themselves.
Oh my God.
And so the FBI comes in, I'm 22 years old, and they interview everybody. That was kind of fun.
Yes.
I got interviewed twice by the FBI at 22 years old. I think they realized they were wasting their time.
Exactly, yes.
I was not, I think I mentioned to you before, they said, how often do you come in through the garage? I don't even know where the garage is. I said, I walk in the front door and I walk to my dormitory because I'm going to college at the same time.
Yes.
And I kind of have a passion for Washington. I graduated from college, and 2 years later I moved back to Cleveland for a job that was a bad fit.
Okay.
And one of your questions is, how do I end up here?
Yes.
I think I told you jokingly, and I tell everybody, I ran out of gas and I was stuck. but in actuality, I was looking to make a job change.
Okay.
And my family had connections with a guy who ran a business, actually, that is, or was, headquartered in Baton Rouge, and they offered me a job.
Wow.
And that was
In what? What was the
I
job?
was in the insurance business at the time.
Okay.
And that was 3 careers ago. Okay.
Yes.
And then I realized it was as much what I was doing as where I was doing it.
Okay.
And I went to work, and I worked for 2.5 years for the Chamber of Commerce.
In Baton Rouge?
Here.
Here, in Lake Charles.
Here.
Okay. All right.
And then also worked for the Louisiana Political Action Committee.
Wow.
Because of my experience in running campaigns and being actively involved in politics.
Yes.
They hired me as a political consultant to talk to candidates running for office.
Wow.
And that was not a career.
Okay.
So in 1981, I went to work for A.G. Edwards, and I've been in the financial services.
How did you go from insurance? Is that an easy transition to financial advisor?
An easier transition than one might think.
Wow.
Because I already had what was called a Series 6 license and an insurance license. And so the learning curve was not as steep as some young person trying to get started.
Yes, okay.
But it's really a question of how you do it and not what your experience is. I spent many years as a manager here in Lake Charles for A.G. Edwards until they got bought out.
That's right.
And trained brokers about what to do and how to do it, and how to develop the relationships of trust that are really fundamental to my business. And I would tell trainees, and once in a while I even mention it to clients, that really important that you trust me, because you shouldn't be here if you don't.
Exactly.
But much more important than that, I have to be trustworthy.
Yes.
Okay, that it's the same relationship that I have with my doctor. Okay, at the end of the day, I can go to Google and I can check out what he's doing and what he's recommending I do and I don't do.
Yes.
But I have to trust his advice. I'm not a doctor.
Very much.
And my clients have to trust me that I'm acting in their best interest.
Very much.
Okay. And not so jokingly, I tell people I like medical analogies. Maybe it's because my stepfather was a doctor.
Wow, okay.
But I like medical analogies. You know, if your doctor screws up,
Yeah.
you die.
Yeah.
And that's bad enough.
Yes.
But if I screw up, you're poor. And that goes on forever. So,
Wow. Great analogy.
so I work very hard to put my clients' interest first. And I believe that's why I may not be the smartest stock picker in the world. Okay, I am a CFP and I understand the basics of planning.
Yes.
And, you know, somebody call you up and say, what do you think about this stock?
Yes.
And I can't answer the question because it has to fit into the whole big picture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, one person calls me up and it's not a suitable risk for that kind of person,
Yes.
as opposed to somebody else who has different risk parameters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've actually irritated people because it's pretty common for people to ask me outside of a business setting what I think about this or what I think about that.
Yes.
And I won't discuss it with them any more than you would go up to your doctor and ask them a medical question
Yes.
at a cocktail party or a
Yes.
social event.
Exactly.
Or because it really has to be put in context.
Yes. How has financial advising changed since you first got into it in the 70s? Is that when you first started it, or has it changed very much? Or
I tell people, yes, it's changed significantly.
okay.
Other than the abundance, and I can't decide if it's overabundance, of government regulation that we deal with today,
Yeah.
I think that the industry is much more public friendly, primarily driven by the government,
Right.
than it was in 1981. It was a lot easier if somebody wanted to scam somebody or somebody wanted to sell them garbage
Yes.
to do so in 1981.
Okay.
And the safeguards are greater. I tell people that when I was young in the business in the early 80s, if I did those things today, I'd probably be guilty of malpractice.
Wow.
Okay? Not intentionally,
Right.
just the rules have
right.
evolved
Yes.
to protect the
The
public.
client. Yes. Yeah.
Because at some juncture, the governing agencies of my industry,
Yes.
and I joke around with lawyers and doctors. I said, you guys think you're regulated? You have no clue. You have no clue.
Yes.
Have really, and maybe to some extent, gone too far if you can protect the public too far.
Yeah.
I can't protect you from yourself.
Right. Yes. Yes.
But in my business, I can. Okay? And I'd like to think I'm not the exception in my industry, but I probably am, in that I do tell clients no. It's not appropriate for your situation.
Wow. And I bet they appreciate that. That's.
Eh.
I know.
I've lost clients.
Okay.
I've lost clients over telling them no. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's got to go home and put my head on the pillow and say, you know, if this person wants to go kill themselves, I have to try to stop them, but I can't stop them.
Yes.
And so people do things that are financially irresponsible, and my job is to advise them responsibly, but I can't make you.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I do financial planning, and I tell people how much they got to live on, and they say I can't live on that, and I say, when do you want to be poor? Okay.
Yes.
But your question was about how things were then. Yeah. I'm not so sure I was that sophisticated back in the 80s. I have always tried to do what I thought at the time was right for my clients.
Yes.
The other thing that has changed is that, except for dinosaurs like me, a lot of the industry is now not advisor driven.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is, at many of the firms, what you are allowed to do is driven by not the advisor, but the people above them. Okay? That you are designed to do certain things for certain people.
Gotcha.
Okay? So the things that I do with my clients, I might not be able to do at other firms just because it doesn't fit what their management thinks. Not a question of whether it's appropriate or not.
Right.
And I'm fortunate enough to work for a firm that is always looking over my shoulder to protect my clients, but they know I'm acting in the best interests.
Yes.
There was not much of that in the 80s.
Okay.
We really had a free hand to do, okay, if I do something for you that is a little bit unique, it's absolutely appropriate if it's your situation, whatever the case may be, but it's unique and different, I have to justify it to those above me.
Oh,
okay?
Yes.
A lot of that is CYA. Okay. But it is also customer protection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Right.
So there's been a big evolution. Okay. And the other thing, of course, is that the access to information is so
Very
prevalent.
Yes.
That the difference, and that's actually one of your questions. What do you need me for?
Okay.
With the access to information.
Yes.
Okay. And I have multiple answers, obviously, or I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yes.
Okay. One of them is, why do you go to a doctor? Everything you need to know about my business is on the internet. And everything you need to know about your health care is on the internet. Okay. The question is making it right.
Yes.
Okay. And it happens. Okay. You know, the big hot thing, one of the big hot things today is cryptocurrency. So I'll get people that call me on the phone and go, you know, I think I want to invest in cryptocurrency. And my standard answer is, if you can tell me what it is, I'll continue the conversation. And they can't. And then I'll go, why do you want to invest in something you don't know what it is?
Exactly.
If you invest in Walmart or Exxon or IBM, or you know what that is.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If you invest your money in a CD, you know what that is.
Yes.
Okay, why would you want to invest? Okay, And that's
Great point.
that's an adjective to make the noun.
Yes.
So what I do for my clients is make sure that what they're doing,
Yes.
they understand the ramifications and the risks
Yes.
of what they're doing.
Yes.
Because there is no such thing as a riskless
Yes.
investment.
Yes.
The old adage that, well, bank accounts are riskless, but they're not.
No.
Because you're losing tax and purchasing power
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
Okay? So you're going to end up with more to spend those dollars on that are worth less. Okay. So, but people don't think about that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so my job is to make sure that the concepts that you're using are based on something that is real.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then hopefully find a course of action that's appropriate, that also is suitable, appropriate for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes. Is there anything you'd like to say to someone who's just entering the field of financial advising? Any advice you would want to give them as they begin their journey?
There are a couple of keys beyond being trustworthy.
Okay.
Okay. I believe that you have to have a fundamental philosophy, a foundational belief. I believe, I have for my entire career really, I believe that ownership is better than lending. And I can explain that. Okay?
Yes.
If I put my money in a bank, I'm lending my money.
Yes.
If I invest in Walmart, Exxon, Microsoft, I own something.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And that owners build wealth and lenders retain their money. Okay. So there are certain key fundamental principles.
Absolutely.
Because the other end of that spectrum is a friend of mine who has now passed away in the brokerage business for years and years, never invested clients' money in stock.
Okay.
All he invested in was fixed income. That was his fundamental core philosophy.
Gotcha.
And if he had a client that wanted to invest in equities, in stocks,
Yes.
they did it with somebody else. He bought their bonds, and
Right.
because that's what his core was. So it's important to have a foundational philosophy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great
I think
point.
that time is more important than a rate of return.
Okay. All right.
Okay? I can actually illustrate that to people, and I have from time to time.
Okay. What would you tell them?
I tell them, you start saving $100 a month when you're 25 years old at 5%,
Yes.
and then start saving $250 a month when you're 35 at 5%, and when you're 65 years old, the $100 a month will be worth more than the $250.
Wow.
That it's time more than the rate of return.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
It's important, I think, and this is really not a core philosophy, this is just basic logic.
Right.
The biggest problem that people have in finding financial security, regardless of their age,
Right.
I think maybe a lot more with the youth, is not what we're saving, it's what we're spending.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We live, and maybe that's one of the things I got out of my youth. Okay.
Yes.
My older brother will joke that I still have the first dime I earned when I was 7 years old. Okay. All right. But people don't think that way.
Yes.
They want it now, and the thought of deferral and I've been very fortunate, and I've made a pretty good income
Nice.
for really all of my adult life.
Good.
I think the other thing is that you gotta have a work ethic.
Yes.
You know, I don't hire brokers anymore, but back in the 90s and the early 2000s when I hired brokers, I tell them, are you prepared for the next 3 years to work 80 or 90 hours a week? Okay, you're opening a business. If you were opening a retail store or a restaurant, you would have to be there 80 or 90 hours. You are building a business. And the day will come where you're me and that 40-hour work week ain't a 40-hour work week. But I tell people that in the early 80s, when I had 2 small children at home, I never missed an event. If my daughter had a ballet recital or my son had a soccer game, but there were lots of Saturday mornings where I got up early and I went to the office. And then I'd go to the soccer game and I'd go back. And if you're not prepared to do that, and if, I got to be politically correct, your significant other, back then it was mostly men, if your spouse isn't prepared to have you do that.
That's a big one too.
Okay? That, why aren't you home for dinner? Because the store is open. And I probably did it for 10 years. I would talk to anybody about anything, anywhere, anytime. Okay? Because that's
you were building something.
I was building a business. Okay?
And the time.
And it's so easy to get hung up in the minutia of my industry that you forget the big picture. I am one of a very few people that do what I do for a living. Ask me what the market did yesterday. Go ahead, ask me.
Okay. What did the market do yesterday?
I have no idea. It is irrelevant to what I do for a living.
For long term.
Okay? Now, it might be relevant to somebody who's in and out of the market, but it is irrelevant to what I do for a living. Okay? That it's noise, not news. And so I'll go someplace and somebody will ask me, what happened in the market today? I don't know. I really, honestly, don't know and don't care. Okay? Because I have these core philosophies that I built my business around. And the fact that the stock market went up or down today, I've got to believe, here's another core philosophy. I've got to believe that in the long run, equity will perpetually outrun debt. Not every day, not even every year, sometimes not even years. But in the long run, the rate of return on equity will outperform debt, or your bank account will become worthless. That's not philosophy, that's economics. Okay? If the creation of capital is not more profitable, then nobody will start a business. And then we're all out of business. That's economic. And I tell people that. And I have, when somebody new comes to me, part of my introduction is obviously finding out about them and what they think is going on and what they're looking for and those kinds of things. But it's also important that they understand where I'm coming from. Okay. If somebody wants a stock picker, they got to find somebody else. Okay. There ain't too many of those around anymore because you can do that yourself. Okay. Okay. But can you do it successfully? Okay. And there are a few who can. I know some people that, quote unquote, trade their own accounts. They're good friends. They buy their bonds from me, and they do their own stock stock picking.
Okay.
And actually I talk to them about their ideas because that's what they like and that's what they do, and they get behind the numbers, and I understand what they're doing, but I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I devote my energies in other areas.
Yes.
So I really
That
kind
makes
of
sense.
hit and miss on a lot of different areas
Sure.
for a new advisor.
Yeah.
But there are so many opportunities for a young person who doesn't know whether this platform is better than that platform, and they're not qualified. Then they just need to talk to a lot of people and find something they believe in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I moved down here in '77,
Okay.
and this is my home.
Wow.
And I tell people when I go around and I talked about the opportunities that exist, this is a great town and we don't appreciate it. First of all, our culture is so different and unique. Not that there aren't other places in the country.
Right.
But it's big enough to have what we need, and it's small enough to be friendly. And this is a really friendly town, and I've had the opportunity to move other places, and I tell people there really isn't anywhere else I want to live other than Lake Charles.
Nice.
That at the end of the day, coming home is coming home. And I've carved out a niche. I'm a medium-sized fish in a very small pond, so I'm fortunate enough to have lots of relationships with lots of different people, and you walk down the street, and unlike a big city,
Right.
you see people you know,
Exactly.
and I like that.
That's
Two of the messages that I relate to people on a perpetual basis is, one, I'm a big fan, and everybody in the world should be forced to watch the movie Pay It Forward.
wow.
Okay? It is a life lesson. Okay? That unfortunately, maybe it's because the human genome is wired to be negative, we are so blessed. We are so lucky that we owe it to those that are coming later to model and to live a philosophy of appreciating our blessing.
Love that.
And the other thing I tell people every time I speak is that whether you realize it or not, we live in the greatest country at the greatest moment in the history of mankind. Okay, and people talk about, well, what about then? And they can pick out whatever period of time they want to pick out. And it has never been this good.
Exactly.
Okay, we have never had it this easy. It has never been, you know, I don't have to go to the I am going to the grocery store, but I don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. They're going to bring it to the door.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And the things that are going on have always gone on, and worse.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And
anybody who's lived through the 60s and the early 70s knows that, yes.
Oh, yeah. You know, we think about the disturbances, the riots that occur from time to time, and when the cities were burning to the ground in the 60s.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the hate that existed back then. Human tolerance has really come a long way. This may not be appropriate, you can edit this out. You know, but I tell people, if you want to take a look at human tolerance, the joke I tell people is, in the old days, the Catholics hated the Protestants, and the Protestants hated the Catholics, and everybody hated the Jews.
Yes.
And now we all get along.
Yes.
You really don't see the religious strife. And You don't see the race stripe.
Yes.
Sure, there is still racial
Always.
division.
Yes.
But if you go back and study history,
Gosh.
it ain't what it
Nearly,
was.
yes.
Not nearly
Yeah.
what it was.
Yes.
And so I'm eternally grateful, and I joke around that when I was younger, I did lots and lots of volunteering, and I served on many boards, and now that I'm old, I just write checks. And I have certain things. I'm interested in kids.
Nice.
And so I have a foundation that is designed to support. It actually, there's a very long title, but it's a children's fund at the Community Foundation.
I know.
And then I have a scholarship fund at McNeese. All of those are part of
That children's
things
fund. What does the money go to?
It's a donor advised fund that I can designate. And sometimes when there's something going on at McNeese, I'll have that fund pay to McNeese. I support some colleges. I've donated money to CARC.
Yes. Yes.
Those kind of things
Absolutely.
that are kids' causes.
Wonderful, absolutely.
So really the two big things that I support the most are things that are involved with kids, and in a much lesser extent, theater,
Nice.
and I belong to the art museum.
Yes.
And that kind of thing.
That's wonderful. And like you were saying, the movie, Pay It Forward. That seems like what you're doing with that. That's
Right.
That's
I really hope that someday somebody, preferably my children or my grandchildren, will be able to say, it wasn't a big difference, but he made a difference.
Wow.
And I wish I could remember who said it.
Yeah.
But there's a quote that goes something to the effect of, it's all the little things we do that change the world.
Wow. I've seen that statement, but I don't know. I don't remember who said it, but I'm sure we could figure it out.
Every day.
That's wonderful. Yes, that's
So I do lots of little things.
very nice.
Not as much as I used to.
Has there been a memorable experience that you've had as a financial advisor? Is there something that you have experienced that you really just significant in your life?
There's been a couple of turning points where the light kind of came on, and I changed course in what I was doing and how I was doing it. Whether it was a speaker or something, not an event, but I had tried for years and years to soak in other points of view and how people do things, and the comment I made about being trustworthy is stolen.
Okay.
So hopefully the person that gave that talk, I was already doing it, but it shaped it in my mind.
Absolutely.
How it fits.
Yes.
And I've been very lucky. I guess this is kind of not your question, but so much of life is if you turned right instead of left, the whole world is different. Okay, if my stepfather doesn't die in January of '77, I'm not here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I've been divorced for a long time, but if I hadn't attended a particular football game, on a high school football game, at a particular time on a particular date in October of 1966, I would have never met my wife.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And I look at those moments,
Yes.
and I tell people those are really what I call turning point
Yes.
moments
Very much.
in people's lives, that when you look in the rearview mirror, you don't even realize that they're going on at the time they're going on. Okay, so I've been with Tammy for 10 years, and she takes really good care of me.
Nice.
And 10 years ago, I went with Ross Bordelon and two other friends to some Arts Fest show at the Burton Coliseum.
Nice.
Talk about turning point moments.
Yeah.
And for those of us that loved Russ and knew Russ, if he ever saw a pretty woman, he would not hesitate to go pester them.
Yes.
And so there was this woman there, and he was chasing her around the Burton Coliseum, and I was single at the time.
Okay.
And a month or so later, I went on a dating site, and I looked at this woman's picture, and I said, she was
the one at
she was the one that Russ Bordelon was chasing around. And I contacted her on the, okay, well, if I hadn't been at the Burton Coliseum, I'd have never met Tammy. Okay, and I like those kinds of moments, you know, that just pure coincidence, dumb luck, divine providence, whatever it is you want to call it. Okay.
Yes.
And so Tammy and I have been together now for 10 years, and
oh my gosh,
if she puts up with me for a few more, maybe we'll be together a few more years. People talk about epiphany moments.
Yes.
I hear stories about, especially theologically, about the light went on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My theological journey was a journey. There was not all of a sudden I hear the word of God speaking to me and going, Reed, you got to do X, Y, Z, and the other thing.
Yes.
But my faith, which I hope is profound, there are those that maybe come out of a different tradition than mine that think that my faith is not so traditional.
Yes.
But I am a pluralist. I think that there's lots of ways.
Can you explain that too?
Okay. Without getting too heavily deep in theology, my God loves everybody. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Christian or a Jew.
Yes.
Okay, my God loves everybody.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That doesn't fall within the traditional Christian theology.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
But my Christ told me how much you love your children, how much more God loves you. What is he going to ultimately do to his children other than love them?
Yes.
Okay, so it's anyway, but that theology is an evolution. I grew up Jewish.
Okay, I didn't know.
Okay.
Okay.
And I got married in the Methodist Church.
Okay.
And I thought it was important that even though I did not have a theology that agreed with my wife, that we worship as a family.
Nice.
And so we went to church.
Yes.
And we continued to go to church. And as a priest, you talk about turning point. Here's my epiphany.
Gotcha.
I'd been going to church with my wife for years and years and years, and I'm sitting in a bar with my priest having a beer, And he says, you never get in the water, you're never going to learn to swim. There's a turning.
Wow.
And I said, okay, let's see what the water feels like.
Yes.
Okay, so, but
Yes.
people that grew up in, and I'm just picking, in the Baptist church, and that's all they're ever exposed to it. And that's fine,
Yes.
as long as they learn to also be loving and forgiving and tolerant of other people. And not everybody in any theology is loving and forgiving and tolerant. It's not unique to a particular denomination.
Yes.
I gave a talk earlier, and I pointed out that my daughter, my youngest daughter, is an evangelical.
Oh, okay.
And Tammy is a Baptist.
Okay.
And I'm an Episcopalian. So we're kind of covering the spectrum.
Yes.
But we all believe that Jesus the Christ showed us a way to live.
Yes. Yes. I see a helmet back here, and if I'm reading it correctly, I see Jim Brown's signature on it. Please tell me.
It's authentic.
How?
I bought it at an auction.
Okay, so you didn't meet him.
But I had.
You had met him.
Yes.
Okay. And
kind of like, you see a football player coming out of the stadium after the game.
Yes.
If that counts as a meeting.
It does count, absolutely. Okay. You shook his hand maybe?
Okay.
Okay.
But I grew up starting in the late 50s going to Browns games.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And so it kind of got ingrained in me. And I am still a suffering servant because right now in November 2025, they stink.
Oh no.
And they have stunk for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And for the time that I was back in Cleveland, I went off to college. And then for the time I was back in Cleveland, I went to all the games. Yeah. And since I moved down here, it varies.
Yes.
Okay. But I traveled to 2 games in 2025.
Nice.
Last year, I traveled to 5.
Wow, okay.
It just depends on what's going on.
Right.
But today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday.
Yes.
I will be watching the Browns get themselves beat.
Oh no.
We'll have to do a follow-up call on Monday to see if they really lost.
I'm going to be pulling for them now. Who are they playing?
They're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who also are a really bad team.
Oh goodness!
So we have the remotest. We have the remotest of a chance.
Okay. All right.
But that goes all the way back to my Cleveland roots as a tidbit. The Browns are one of the NFL teams that have never been to the Super Bowl.
Wow, okay.
The last time they won the World Championship was 1964. That was before the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly, yes.
Yeah. And I was there.
Wow. All right. Okay. That's excellent. Okay. So that's your connection with, a little bit more of a connection than
the mug.
Yes, yes. Right. So
and there's more.
I see Cleveland, yes.
And all the pictures up there.
Yes, okay.
All the
I forget what you call that. It's players' cards. And, yes. Instead of baseball cards, football cards.
So that's one of my traveling, my clients, and the Browns, I guess. Yes. I guess I ought to throw Tammy in there.
I would, yes.
If you're going to put it on she might watch it. And
that's wonderful.
No, I'm very lucky to have her.
That's it. It sounds like it. That's wonderful. So, thank you.
And my kids love her, and which is really good because you don't always have that with the other mother.
Yes, that's yes.
I think they love her most because she's so good to me, but they love her because she's just a lovable person.
Yes.
One of the luckiest things
Yeah.
that's happened to me is Sheila. Sheila has worked for me for 25 years.
Wow.
Now, I joke about Tammy putting up with me. Sheila really puts up with me.
Okay.
And she really runs my business now.
Yes.
I do all the financial management stuff, but all the day-to-day record keeping, making sure that there's coffee. I don't know that I ever did that, but anyway, you get the point.
I do.
She has been a loyal, dedicated, trustworthy. She knows more about my personal and professional business than I do.
Now that's a great person to have.
You know, and clients ask me when I'm going to retire.
Yes.
And I tell them I really have no plans to retire.
Nice.
She has plans to retire.
Yes.
She'd be really hard to replace.
Yes.
She would be
So maybe that
really,
will be,
really hard to replace.
That's
because the things she does that I don't do, there was a point in my career when I did them.
Yes.
But I'm not going to do them again. Wow. So, just all the detail stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'd have to find somebody. But we get along well enough that that she's not going to quit. She's going to stay until she retires.
Yes.
And, I mean, we've even talked about it because there's lots of times when you're frustrated and she'll go, I'm thinking about retiring. And I'm going, you can't retire. I used to joke around with people. I said, there's two reasons she can't retire or quit. And one is because I treat her so well, which may or may not be true. And the other is I told her I'd burn her house down.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness.
No, she is real. I mean, I've gotten to the point where clients call and they don't even want to talk to me.
Goodness. That's wonderful.
Or like Friday, she asked me if she could work from home. I said, yes. I answered the phone and the guy said, I don't want to talk to you. And I said, well, maybe I can help you.
Yes.
And he said, no, you can't.
Oh, gosh.
And he said, well, I need to move X number of dollars to my checking account. And I said, I can help you. And he said, really? Yeah. I said, I can let Sheila know.
Oh, that's
okay.
Good. Yes. That's a great description. How have your life experiences helped shape the person, the man you are today?
Well, I think, I tell people, there is kind of a bipolar perception of me in the community because there's a lot of people that don't like me.
Oh, goodness.
And those that know me and have dealt with me, and some of them don't like me too, but, okay. But I'm really frank and try to be maybe too bluntly honest with...
I find that very refreshing.
Okay.
Personally.
And I'm not going to mention any names.
Okay.
But, you know, I was standing with a group of people, and one of them was an elected official. And he tells the group, what I like best about Reed Mendelson is that people tell elected officials what they think the elected officials want to hear. And Reed tells people what he thinks.
Nice. And that's a great quality.
Okay. So I don't know. That's really, and that's why some people don't like me.
Yes,
Okay.
I can understand. Yes,
Okay. Is
But-
because
you say what you think.
I'm pretty blunt. Okay.
Sure.
Again, I'm not going to mention names.
Yes.
Not on a video.
Absolutely. No, yes, I'm not asking.
But there are firms in this town
Yeah.
that I would not work for.
Really?
They couldn't pay me enough
Wow.
to work for them,
Okay.
just because of how they handle their people
Yes.
and their business. And so now I'm going to get phone calls. Who is it you won't work for? I'm not going to answer those phone calls either. But okay, because I'm really blunt with people,
Oh yeah.
and I joke around with Tammy.
Okay.
About 95% of my life is flexible. Okay. She says, "What do you want for dinner?" And I go, "Not to decide."
Yeah.
"Where do you want to do this weekend?" "Not decide." And I'm really that way but in that narrow band of the things that are core belief. Okay. I'm a really tolerant person.
Okay.
Except for those that are intolerant. If you wanted to pick two characteristics that I have a hard time dealing with, are ignorance
Yes.
and intolerance. Okay?
That's-
Beyond that, I can even tolerate stupid.
That's a great picture, Reed, and this has been a wonderful education for me. I